Whooping Crane by Jane Campbell. Bringing back the whooping crane. Now you see them. Have you ever seen a whooping crane? Probably not. Only a few hundred of these rare birds are left. 60 years ago, there were only about 20 whooping cranes. This book tells how people are working to bring back the whooping cranes. Facts about whooping cranes. They are found only in North America. They migrate from Canada to the southern United States. They are more than 5 feet tall. They are the tallest birds in North America. They have a wingspan of 7 feet. They get their name from the whooping cry they make. Their cry can be heard from 2 miles away. Cranes in danger. Before pioneers settled the North American prairies, there were thousands of whooping cranes. By the 1860s, there were only about 1,000 birds. By 1940, only about 20 whooping cranes were left. What happened to make so many of these beautiful birds disappear? The cranes disappeared for three main reasons: loss of their habitat, overhunting, and egg collecting. Loss of habitat. Whooping cranes like to live in open, marshy places. In this habitat, they can find food and materials for shelter and nesting. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, large areas of marshes were drained to create farmlands. This was a disaster for the whooping cranes. Overhunting. Hunters shot whooping cranes as they migrated between Canada and the southern United States. Egg collecting. As the cranes became more rare, collectors took their eggs as souvenirs. The long route south for migrating whooping cranes. Cranes usually lay 2 eggs each season, but only one chick survives. Saving the whooping crane. In 1970, the whooping crane was declared an endangered species. It became illegal to hunt the cranes or take their eggs. This helped, but it was not enough. By the early 1980s, only one small flock of whooping cranes was left. To help bring back more cranes, the International Whooping Crane Recovery Team was formed. People feared we might lose the fast whooping crane flock to an oil spill. These men were working to help whooping cranes. Today, the wild whooping crane flock numbers nearly 200 birds. Two new whooping crane flocks are beginning to form. One of the new flocks lives year-round in central Florida. Chicks are hatched in Maryland, Wisconsin, and Alberta, Canada. Chicks from the Florida flock, are hatched and raised in captivity. Later, the chicks are released into the wild. The recovery team wanted the second flock to migrate. This was a challenge. In the wild, chicks learn from their mothers how to migrate, but chicks hatched in captivity do not have mothers. How do you teach cranes to migrate? You use an ultralight aircraft. While the chicks hatch, the sounds of an ultralight are played with the sounds of a mother bird. When it is time to migrate south, the young birds follow the ultralight the same way they would follow a mother bird. In 2001, the first flock raised in captivity followed an ultralight aircraft from Wisconsin to Florida. People who trained the cranes wear protective clothing. They never talk to the birds. The birds had to be shown the way only once. They were able to fly back on their own. 5 of the birds made it back to Wisconsin in the spring. An incredible recovery. Whooping cranes have made an incredible recovery. Their story shows how humans can help protect wildlife. We should be alert to other animals whose habitats are in danger. We may be able to prevent them from disappearing too. Here's the glossary. Captivity, kept within bounds. Birds in captivity are not free to fly where they want. Endangered, in danger of disappearing. Habitat, an area where plants, birds, or animals are able to live. Migrate, to travel from one part of the world to another and back again every year. Species, a group of animals different from all other groups. Ultralight, a type of small aircraft that does not weigh a lot. Wingspan, the distance from the tip of one wing to the tip of the other. And here's your index.